book, Re-Education of the Negro, and the piece is called Black Socrates Speaks, These Kids Today. One statement you'll never hear me say is these kids today. I'd rather listen to people say these parents today. That which we criticize in the young only reflect what we adults have taught them or have failed to teach them. One day we will reconcile how important our story, history, is to have a true sense of self, and until then, our path as African Americans is steadily pacing on the road to perish. Learning about history naturally bridges the gap from the past to what you can do in the future. We often discuss how too many of our African American children are limited in their future aspirations, but that comes directly from a lack of exposure, not only in their daily experiences, but in most cases from never hearing about the greatness of their ancestry. All humans subconsciously surmise that anything done previously can be done again and built upon in the future. However, African American children are rarely shown any history beyond the enslavement period and the civil rights era in America. They never heard of Madison Washington, leader of the most successful enslaved African revolt in U.S. history. They don't know our queens, Fannie Lou Hamer and Ella Baker, were as vital and equal to Martin Luther King in the civil rights movement. They never heard the names of African leaders and freedom fighters, Patrice Lumumba or Stephen Biko. Resistance is in their blood, but they don't know why. Yet we reprimand them, myself included, when they resist without demands or an end game, i.e. Ferguson, NFL boycott, etc. How is it not mandatory for every black church to how is it not mandatory for every black church to laud the teachings of Marcus Garvey or Hubert Harrison? The answer is because for as much as we hold Martin and Malcolm in high regard, we often fail to heed their teachings as a collective. As Malcolm said, only a fool will let his enemy teach his children. Today, many of us will hear that quote and get hung up on the word enemy because we're unaware that our American education makes us think, I don't want to make white people my enemy, only to become the reverse of what was done to us. Therefore, we will disregard educating our own children, whether in an African-centered school or as parents doing the legwork to heavily supplement the public school education that will only provide them an African-American studies as an elective at the college level. When psychological implicit bias studies show that 50% of black people are biased against other black people, miseducation is the enemy. The miseducation inherently hidden within public school education confuses students about what white supremacy really is. These kids today will quickly knock out an openly alt-right peer, same as I would as a child, but as adults, we teach them to never resort to violence due to their own upbringing. Due to our miseducation, we fail to teach them how irrelevant openly racist people are today in society. Whenever a systemic issue rears its ugly head, whether a Mike Brown / Freddie Gray situation or the ongoing violence in Chicago, some adults want to march and the kids want to burn shit down. We never stop to consider our methods have left them in a world in which they think they must resort to violence to be heard, and that is definitely on us. Just my 3 cents. All I ask is that you think. See y'all next Saturday.